Just a final footnote on that one, Trevor, the Harvey Elliott situation. We're hearing that Harvey has just taken to social media and says, no, the 3-game ban is wrong. I think it's wrong. So,
yeah, but he's a footballer, isn't he? And he has empathy. He must have empathy for Pascal, because he realises he went to win the ball fairly. He thought it was a clean challenge, and it was just an uncomfortable and unfortunate coming together where he's come out injured, which is not great for him. But at least he's got a little bit of respect for his teammate and saying, listen, I really do believe that wasn't a foul.
He says, sorry about that, Pascal. I think this is wrong, but it will soon blow over. You'll be back in no time. I mean, fair play to Harvey.
Yeah.
He's given his take in it from distance this morning. The fact is, poor old Harvey's laid up.
We ask for a cultural change in football, from the way that fans behave on the terraces or the stands through to the respect for referees. What happened to the respecting of a decision? There is an authority and a line of communication that you have to adhere to, whether you like it or you don't. And I don't really... If someone asks Harvey Elliott, that's fine. You can't criticise somebody for giving an answer to a question.
No.
If you want to start volunteering information, you're getting into the territory of, why do you need to do this? You've got to respect the reality of the game. And sometimes things aren't right, things aren't perfect. And sometimes I just think players have got just a little bit too much of it, a little bit too much to say for themselves. We need to build a culture of professionalism amongst the referees. We need to recognise the authority. We don't see this crap in other sports. We very rarely see umpires or referees being challenged by the protagonists in the way that we seem to see it in football.
Yeah, but hang on, you're not telling me that Harvey's wrong, saying that he thinks the 3-game ban is wrong.
I'm saying that it's not Harvey's gift to be able to question the decisions of the authorities that make decisions based upon the very best intentions.
But he's entitled to have his opinion.
And it's about opinions.
Well, yes, of course he's entitled to his opinion, but you're missing the central point. Do we think constantly challenging the authority, and I'm a great one for challenging authority, I don't recognise establishment just for the sake of it being establishment, but you do have to have a bedrock, you do have to have an establishment that basically upholds the rules or upholds the well-being of the game. So basically, if you start with this little nugget of people being able to say what they want when they want, then where does it go to? It ends up with players refusing to honour their contracts. It ends up with players refusing to do this, because it starts with little things like this. Harvey, you made your point. You've absolved him from the responsibility. The game's authorities don't choose to view it that way. You are not in a position to be judge, jury and executioner. You're just a player. So we really don't need you adding to the pile-on of people suggesting that the game's authorities are forever wrong.
You really don't like players having an opinion about things.
No, I think there's time and a place. But I think
this is the time he's been asked.
But I think if you look at the game itself, I think it's out of control, from the way that the players express themselves at times, from the gestures that they're allowed to do, onto the manner of which they conduct themselves when contracts don't suit them, on the way that they uphold the country's outlooks during COVID. We see it all the time, and I just believe that sometimes you've got to get it right. And there were times,
but on this occasion, we have got it right. And I'll tell you why.
What?
Harvey Elliott is central to everything that happened at Elland Road in this particular incident. He's the injured party. So he's giving his honest opinion from distance this morning, and he says, from his hospital bed, I think the 3-game ban is wrong on my opponent, Pascal Struijk.
So
now you say,
so we'll let the players,
it's all right for a player to do that,
let the players make
but
the rules up
only
then.
when there's a time and a place.
Why don't we,
this is a time,
and
this is a place.
Well, according to you it is, not according to me. And according to me, the players don't get to make the rules. You can't have the lunatics running the asylum. You have to have, whether it's right or wrong.
He's just giving an opinion, Simon.
The players freedom of speech.
He's creating an opinion. He's creating an issue. He's made his point.
It's his opinion.
He said to everybody, right?
But it's obviously breaking news.
He said to everybody that he absolves a player from responsibility of an injury. He's now criticising the sanction. So his view is that the sanction's too strident. Well, hang on a second. Who determines what the sanction should be? The bleeding players.
No, he's not saying what the sanction should be. He's saying he doesn't feel he should be sanctioned. He's not saying it shouldn't be a 3-game ban. He's saying he doesn't feel he should be banned.
He should.
But I think you've got to hold. I think you've got to hold the officials, and we're talking about the PGMOL, the Premier League, and VAR, and the referees.
So they're all in on this conspiracy.
Who said it's a conspiracy? I think they've made the wrong decision
individually.
Collectively, they have made the wrong decision, in my opinion.
They're 3 sets of individuals. Follow the logic. You've got the referee on the pitch, you've got the VAR in the stands or at Stockley Park, and you've got an individual panel. They're 3 individual. So what we're saying is the conspiracy theory is they all got together to come to the same conclusion.
Or
maybe they all saw it the same way.
Maybe they did all see it the same way, but that's not the way I see it, and it's not the way that players see it, because you've heard from a few players already.
Okay, well then they're right, and these guys are wrong.
Is this not an occasion, though, in all seriousness, that someone like Harvey Elliott's take on the matter should be taken into account.
Yes, insofar as the opinion that when we're talking about the judgment that he's made about if he wants to apportion blame, if he wants to pile into what this player did to him, he's absolutely right to have a view on that. But when we're talking about the sanction, you have to respect the authority in the same way to respect the authority of a policeman.
Harvey does respect the
Well, he doesn't,
the
because he's questioning it. How can you respect an authority?
But he's not wrong to question it if he thinks his point is valid.
I think he is.
There's a saying in the game, watch the player's reaction. I'm going to spin this around. Watch the referee's reaction, because it's usually the right one.
Yep.
He plays on. If that injury is not a horrendous injury, which we've seen, I don't think anyone speaks about this challenge.
And that may be right.
And that means, for me, that was the right decision not to give the foul. So how can it be a red card?
We have 3 individual factions, unless you believe they're all joined at the hip. We have 3 individual factions that have all come to the same conclusion. I'm not in the camp of suggesting it's right or wrong. I'm suggesting that they've made an individual decision.
I understand that.
And they could be. I mean, Danny Keller used to say to me that they used to back one another up. VAR backs one another because the referees' union will never overturn one another. So there is that point of view. But that's not true either, is it? Because clear and obvious mistakes are interceded by VAR to get a referee to look at things differently. So that doesn't pass the sniff test. I look at this and just say, I would think it would be more helpful for managing the game and getting some authority into referees' decisions and getting referees to be respected more if players like Harvey Elliott dialed it down once the sanction's been made. He's made his point. He doesn't believe that this was a foul that was deliberately perpetrated upon him. But once the sanction's been made, you have to respect something, or what is it that you respect?
I understand that, Sam.
Am I not looking at the same Simon Jordan who on occasion has had the odd swipe at referees in the standard of?
Well, yeah, that's a different scenario. Not the sanction.
Is that respect?
I have questioned the integrity, or most not integrity, the professionalism and the competency of referees.
Okay.
Just talking about this independent panel, which would have been one of the people to look at this. Who are the ex-players that are involved in this independent panel? Because I'd like to know that, because how they've come to this decision.
Oh, did they have to be a certain type of player then to pass the sniff test for you on that one?
No, it's not. It's just I'd like to know who they are, because I really can't get my head around how they can see this as a red card challenge. That's all.
Yeah. Incidentally, Dave Gregory, one of the listeners, is saying, I'm having a great old morning this morning, because every time Simon says you can't have the lunatics running the asylum, I drink a shot.
Of what?
Dave, keep it going, mate, because you could be out of it by 11. We're coming up to 11:15 this morning.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.